Good morning, Straight Piping fam. Definitely a new setting for most y'all. Welcome to the first Cologne review of the Straight Piping YouTube channel. If you did not know, my name is Justin. I am an avid Cologne connoisseur. As many of my friends know, they always come to me for cologne advice, or anything to do with, fragrances, smelling good, anything like that. But today we got a banger, an absolute banger of a video for y'all. We have arguably the best Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille dupe versus the actual Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. So let's jump right into the review. Intro time. So let's start off with Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, right? Tobacco Vanille is a very, very, very nice tobacco and vanilla fragrance mainly. Coming in with the unboxing here, okay? I bought a 30 mil because I knew I was only going to be using this for special occasions. It is not a fragrance that I'd wear every day. You could probably pull it off in the fall or winter, but for me, this is going to be a very, very situational fragrance. Maybe I'm getting a promotion or something like that I want to smell. Maybe a little heightened, a little leveled up from the people around me, that I'm going to go ahead and pick this. But let's get into a nice little unboxing. This is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. Now, as I said before, I purchased the 30-ounce bottle for around 175, or not 30 ounce, excuse me, 30 mil bottle. 30 ounces would be absolutely massive. I purchased the 30 mil bottle for around $185, which to most people is absolutely outrageous for the amount of liquid that you are getting, because that's pretty expensive, But as you guys can see on the back here, it's going to head and show the ingredients. Tom Ford is what it says down here. Beauty District, New York. On the bottom, you have the product code, and then if you guys can barely see the batch, but this is Tobacco Vanille. So let's get into some unboxing here. As you pull the nice, it's like a suede-ish kind of case. Let me see if I can get the texture on cam there. It's a nice suede hard case. I'm gonna go ahead and put that to the side over here. We get to the bottle. It is a little tight for me, but it's just a gold little holder, or the parfum vaporizer. Tells you your fluid ounces or milliliters, everything like that. We're gonna go ahead and push that to the side and get to the actual fragrance itself here. So this is the bottle of Tobacco Vanille. It is very high quality. It looks great. I don't have any complaints. The top, as you can see, hey guys, says Tom Ford. And on the bottom here, it tells you, Tom Ford Beauty District, fluid ounces, milliliters, eau de parfum, vaporizer spray, everything like that. That's pretty much it as you get into it. Unboxing. The atomizer. The interesting thing that I saw on this, it has like a little, almost rubber-like grip for the atomizer itself, and that just allows for a really nice and easy click on, as you guys can hear that. Now, it's not magnetic by any means or anything like that, but it is snug, so you can tip it upside down, nothing will come out. But this is the bottle itself. So, a lot of people want to know what you're getting into when you get Tobacco Vanille. As I smell it, as it's radiating out of the atomizer, I've used this maybe one time for a very special occasion, but the initial note that I get is a super, super, super high quality tobacco leaf that fades into this sweet, sweet vanilla. Obviously, it's called Tobacco Vanille, but I do also smell maybe a little cacao, cocoa, or tonka bean in there. Maybe a little woodsy base. something along those lines, but it's super, super smooth on the nose. I mean, if you're looking for a tobacco fragrance that's sweet, it's on the sweet side, it's not as harsh and like very, very masculine. I do believe that Tobacco Vanille does a great, great job of appealing to both the masculine tobacco side as well as a luxurious vanilla, sweet, seductive smell. Now, getting to the dupe, I'm so excited to try this. I've always wanted to try this. We have maybe the best dupe, as far as I know, of Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. It is Maison Alhambra Tobacco Touch. Now, this is an Arabic house. As far as I know, it's under the Latafa kind of circle pool, right? But Maison Alhambra does their more exquisite, more, you know, luxurious smells like the Tom Ford dupes, things of that nature, right? So we went ahead and picked up a bottle of Maison Alhambra's Tobacco Touch, if you guys can see that. As far as bottles or boxes are concerned, yes, the size difference is very apparent. As you guys can see, the size difference is super, super apparent. The quality of boxes is, I don't think, too far off. We got the boxes here. It's not too far off, right? I don't think they are quality-wise much different from each other. I do think the Tom Ford feels a little more exquisite. It feels a little more put together, and you can really feel the texture. As this kind of feels like it's just kind of pressed on. Definitely the gold lettering and like print on there, I think it's significantly better on the Tom Ford. You know, that's super, super nitpicky though, as I got 2.7 fluid ounces of Tobacco Touch for right around $30. As you can see, it has their little Maison Alhambra sticker up in the top corner. That is one of those pearlescent, iridescent, whatever you want to call it. And then we have the box, Tobacco Touch, tells you ingredients. Some stuff maybe in Russian, not 100% sure. On the bottom, there's their Arabic Latafa. There's what I was saying before about being under the Latafa house. It has all of their socials, probably where you can buy this. But I personally got mine off of Amazon. So, getting into the unboxing of Tobacco Touch. It's much, much larger, right? It's significantly bigger. But, wow, ladies and gentlemen, if I have ever seen a dupe, that is incredibly close. This one does have a little, like, foam. I guess it's not, yeah, it is like a foam. It's foam with, like, a little velvet over the top of it. I don't know if I can catch that really on cam, but yeah, there's a little velvet foam liner to hold the cologne in place, and then this is Tobacco Touch. Now, in terms of looking like Tobacco Vanille and knowing what you're probably going to get from buying this, I would say they've knocked it out of the park at making it look exactly like Tom Ford. Now, Tobacco Touch, as far as I'm concerned, is a 1-to-1 of the same ingredient profile and smell-like profile. As we can see, they have their Maison Alhambra logo, Tobacco Touch Eau de Parfum. On the top, they've even copied the Tom Ford by putting their own logo on there. And that's about it. They got a little sticker down here that just says Eau de Parfum, made in the UAE, or United Arab Emirates. So, let's compare side to side. This is 2.7 ounces of Tobacco Touch, and this is around 1 ounce of Tobacco Vanille. As you guys can see, they're nearly identical, right? I don't think there's much difference here. We all know what Mason Alhambra is trying to do. There's literally no differences. Maybe these edges being more boxy and, Tom Ford having that little swoop, the swoop-like style on theirs. Also, the cap may be a little larger on the Mason Alhambra, a little thicker, but that could just come with a bigger bottle. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this is very, very, very similar. Getting into the overall review here, I still smell that Tobacco Vanille in the air right now. It's still wonderfully smooth and sweet. I get these same notes. I do believe it's a linear fragrance, as it doesn't, change its scent profile over a certain amount of time. However, this is astounding to me that people, I don't know, what the rules are in terms of dupes or whatever, but, if I was an investigator, I would definitely know exactly what they're trying to duplicate here. So, let's get into the smell test of Tobacco Vanille. Tobacco Touch, sorry. Right off the start, I do smell more of like a alcohol-y kind of base to this. I'm not 100% sure if that's just like quality of ingredients, or if maybe I have a bad batch or something. Also, my atomizer is wet. I don't know if you can see my fingers, but it is I don't know if that is from the cologne itself or maybe a mishap during shipping or something, but it smells good. I don't have any complaints with it. It is $30, I'm gonna get what I pay for here, but I'm gonna go ahead and use my hand as an indicator here. I'm gonna spray the Tobacco Touch from Mason Alhambra on my left hand, and I'm going to take the Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille and spray that on my right hand. Now, we're gonna let them dry down and see if we can't get a little side-to-side comparison on skin, because that is overall what you're really gonna want. Yes, tester strips are wonderful for smelling the base fragrance as is, but when a cologne hits your skin, it reacts much differently than when a cologne is just on a neutral piece of paper. I really, really, really enjoyed the way Tobacco Vanille smelled on my skin. I went into a Sephora. If you guys do have the chance, go into a Sephora, go into an Ulta, go into your nearest fragrance store. Maybe it's a fragrance outlet or a Fragrantia or something along those lines. Go in and smell before you buy. I have a few blind buys that now I look back at and I'm like, that's really not my style. So if you can smell a fragrance before you buy it, I would recommend that. But let's get into the review here. So, after smelling the Mason Alhambra Tobacco Touch and the Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, I've found a little things that I'm kind of surprised at. I watched a few reviews on both of these before I bought them, and I know that there are supposed to be very, very high similarities, and it should be almost 1-to-1, right? But smelling this Mason Alhambra, I do get that tobacco note into maybe a little more shy vanilla. It's not as potent, it's not as strong. Also, the tobacco doesn't smell as quality, if that makes sense. It doesn't smell as, upper echelon as the Tom Ford, and that's obviously apparent. It was, it's extremely cheap in comparison to the Tom Ford. I think it smells great. I am an avid enjoyer of tobacco fragrances. If you guys have, if you're on a budget and you need a tobacco fragrance, I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend this. It does smell good. I think the initial hit is much more alcohol-y. It's not alcohol-y. It's not as tobacco initially, right? So there's a note before it, then it goes into tobacco, then it kind of fades out with vanilla is what I'm getting from the Tobacco Touch. It's not nearly as strong, but it does have around the same scent profile, right? It's not nearly as potent, it's not as projecting. I wouldn't doubt it wouldn't last as long. I do feel like Tom Ford's longevity is through the roof. I mean, I wore that when I first wore Tobacco Vanille. I was getting compliments, 12 hours after I had worn it. So going into the Tobacco Vanille, though, on my right hand, very, very strong tobacco leaf in the opening. I do enjoy it. It's smooth. It's not a super harsh tobacco fragrance. It kind of slowly, in my opinion, it goes from that nice tobacco leaf and kind of fades, but it fades kind of fast into a vanilla. So the way I picture it is like you have a nice tobacco leaf that's, you can obviously tell it's high quality. It's a very smooth cologne. Very, very smooth, very sweet. It is quite sweet. The tobacco fades to the vanilla very fast. I do think there's a little bit of woodsy, maybe bass notes in there that a lot of people don't catch, but they are apparent. In terms of what I would say is 1-to-1, I don't know if they're very, very close. It takes me a minute to get the Mason Alhambra to smell like tobacco. It takes me a few, whiffs of it to really, really get that tobacco smell into the vanilla. But when it is there, it is very, very close to Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. Now, the Tom Ford is potent, okay? I smell it throughout the room right now. That was sprayed in the air, and then a little, I don't know if you guys can see it. There's a little circle on my wrist about that size, and it is radiating into my nose. I don't often spray these inside because I know what it's gonna do to my roommates and everything, but wow, it is very potent, very strong, projecting. I don't doubt that this is gonna last a very, very long time on your guys' skin. Quick breakdown. Mason Alhambra, great tobacco fragrance. I think it's a good cologne. I think it's a good dupe. If you're on a budget, knock it out of the park if you need a tobacco fragrance. Overall, great. It is a Eau de Parfum. It is 2.7 ounces. I paid $30 for. That is super low cost. I do think that longevity might be around, I'm gonna predict 6 to 8 hours. It doesn't project super far, so I'm gonna say around a foot and a half. If you walk past somebody, I don't doubt that they will definitely smell tobacco touch on you, but I don't think you're gonna be a beast. You're not gonna be killing the room if you walk in with this. In terms of the Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, what can I say? It's hard to knock the best, right? So with Tobacco Vanille, very expensive. Very, very, very expensive. That's pretty much the only reason why most people do not buy this, unless you don't like tobacco and vanilla fragrances or just tobacco fragrances in general. $185 for 1 ounce is kind of crazy, right? It is not the most expensive fragrance, but it is certainly, if I had a scale, would be 3 out of 3 for expensive dollar signs, right? The Tobacco Vanille, I do think is worth it for the price. I would buy it again, 1,000%. I would buy it again. If I run out, I am going to buy it again. I'm that confident in it. I think it's a great compliment getter. I've worn it once, and that same day I've had around 3 or 4 compliments being, not super close to people, but walking by. I've had a few people stop me saying, "Hey, what are you wearing? I like that smell. What is it?" And I don't doubt that you wouldn't get that with Tobacco Touch. Tobacco Touch, I do think smells wonderful. I think it's a great fragrance. I think it's a great fragrance for people on a budget. If you are not able to afford, the likes of Tom Ford or Killian or those kind of colognes, I think Lattafa is a great house that makes great, great products that genuinely last long and project very high. However, I do think Tobacco Touch is going to last around 6 to 8 hours. I will do further testing later on with some other members in the house. But overall, I think it was a great, great purchase. I don't regret buying it for $30. I probably will wear it some of the days when I don't feel like wearing Tobacco Vanille. Overall, I think it's good. I think it's a good clone. I think Tobacco Vanille is hard to clone, hard to replicate because of the quality of ingredients that are put in it. I think it's very, very difficult for a company to duplicate that, but I do think Maison Alhambra and Lattafa are doing a great job at taking these, you know, niche high-end designer fragrances and making them into something that's more affordable for the general public and the people that don't want to spend that much money on cologne. You know, a lot of people out there are on a budget that don't have $185 to splash on a bottle that probably would last them a short amount of time if they're using that as a daily fragrance. Hopefully they're not, because that would be insane. But overall, I think it's a great dupe. Do I think it's the best? I'm not sure. We're gonna find out in another video. Stay tuned for more cologne and fragrance videos, y'all. This is just the first one of many. So go ahead and smash that like, hit the sub, turn your post notifications on, and stay tuned for more cologne reviews. There are so many that I have. There's a back order of millions of colognes that I'm willing to do, and I already have. So if you guys want to see another cologne side-by-side review, if you want me to go more in depth, if you want me to go maybe a little less in depth and more in public or in a different situation, please post in the comments. Any criticism is welcome. I'm completely open to going into the public and doing these, you know, with multiple people, having them wear them and testing which women prefer on men. I'm not opposed to buying women's perfume and testing that with men with multiple women. You know, I'm completely open to whatever you guys are willing to send for video ideas. If you want to see Sauvage versus Hawas, or, you know, any of the big names, I will take the hit in the bank account so you guys can see that, because I'm also interested, right? With that being said, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Remember, don't spray too much cologne. You might kill the room. But if it's tobacco vanille, do whatever you want.